Hi, it's Chloe, and today I'm going to make a video about being an exchange student at the University of the Sorbonne in Paris. So I wanted a chance to share my experiences and to give some words of advice for anyone else who is either going to go to the Sorbonne as an exchange student or is thinking about it. Firstly, you need to know what your UFR is going to be, and your UFR is like your home department. So for me, I chose history because I study history and French in England. And there's usually a thing called a réunion, where you can speak to someone who is like a specialist in exchange students, especially Erasmus students, and can let you know all about like what's expected of you and how many credits you have to do, for example, because I didn't even know how many credits I had to do. So once you know what your UFR is going to be, you need to enroll. So first you need to enroll as a student for the university, and then later on you'll enroll for your classes. So what you need to do, again, there should be like a proper formal meeting for this, and you should get lots of emails about it, which should let you know all the details of when the meetings are, because you have to physically turn up. They give you like this introductory session, and then you have to give them some of your legal documents and a picture of yourself, and then they give you your student cards. So when it comes to actually deciding your modules, I would advise that you really look into the details of the descriptions before choosing anything, because I found that some of the modules weren't quite what I was expecting. And it's also important to check how many credits each module is. So each department, or each UFR, will have a module booklet detailing all the different classes it provides. So they give you like this big booklet, and it has the details of all the modules of all the different eras of history. And basically you can have a free reign of whatever it is you're interested in from there. So in addition to the main modules, the main like history modules that they provide, there are things called STA, and it tends to be fewer hours than the general modules, but it's worth the same amount of credits. So for me, as an Erasmus student, again, wanted to minimise my amount of class time and work. I chose to do 3 of these modules this term because I did 2 last term and I really enjoyed them. I found the type of lecture much more engaging. That is, with the general modules, you'll have a 2-hour seminar and a 1 or 2 hour long lecture, and so you tend to do like 3 or 4 hours of class time per week per module. And when you're doing 6 modules, that's just, I don't know, for me it was a bit too much. So as you're going through the booklet and you're seeing what interests you, what I did is I made a little spreadsheet of like classes that interested me, and I wrote down the course code and the time of the class. It's really important you pay attention to this, because you have to make your own timetable and see what courses will fit in with your schedule. It can be a bit stressful, but once you've got it sorted out, hopefully everything will work, and hopefully there'll be space for you on the module, because that's the next thing that we have to get to, enrollment, which is inscription. And it's important that you know words like inscription or inscription and pédagogique and licence. So licence is like your degree. So when you do your year abroad, it's normally in your 3rd year, so you'd be doing licence 3. So as an exchange student, you have to enroll in person for your modules. So they give you like this piece of paper and you fill out your details. You need to put the course code. So you have a CM, which is cours magistral, which is your lecture, and then a TD, which is travaux dirigés, your seminar. So you need to say what time your cours magistral is, what time your travaux dirigés is, and then you give that piece of paper to the secretaries. They type it all in, and hopefully there'll be space for you in the module. But I'm just going to warn you, at least in my experience, they weren't always very nice, and you're probably not going to be able to get your whole enrollment thing done in the first try, because there are just always some problems with it. Now on to actually starting your classes. So I found that whilst this seemed really, really daunting, because you're kind of the new kid at school again, and like you're having to settle into a whole new university and learn the campus, and like the language barrier as well is so terrifying. Yeah, here are just some tips, so hopefully you can ease into it a little bit quicker. So one thing I didn't realise is that at the start of each new course you do, they always want you to fill in a piece of paper with like some personal details, like your name and your degree type, whether you're an exchange student, stuff like that. So always bring a pen and some pieces of spare paper. So even though I like to type, I just make sure to bring some pen and paper with me. And also, in your first week, make sure to try and turn up early to your classes as much as you can, because the campus is quite confusing and they don't have maps in the campus. Like, you can find a PDF of the plan online, but it's really difficult to find your way around, and there doesn't seem to be a logical way that the rooms are numbered. So definitely try and find the room in good time before your class starts, because they get really, really annoyed if you turn up late. And then also, if you turn up early, you can get a better seat. So I would suggest sitting closer to the front in the middle, because then you can hear them better, and lots of the rooms are really echoey, and it makes it, like when you're already struggling with the language barrier, it just makes it that much more difficult. And also, it will give you out in your first lesson of each subject a course booklet, like a detailed course booklet. I don't have any right here. So make sure you always keep that with you for your classes, because you tend to have classwork in there, like your weekly readings will be in this booklet, so make sure you always bring that with you. Because now onto the more boring bit. If you have to be assessed as part of your Erasmus degree, the types of assessment can vary greatly. So for example, although my grades at the Sorbonne don't count towards my degree back at Warwick, I still have to pass things and I still have to participate in the exams. So most of my modules have what's called a contrôle continu. So I have like an oral exposé, which I can do written as well, and then a DST, a devoir sur table, which is like an in-class exam. And then there's sometimes an exam at the end of the year, but it might be another DST. Anyway, each module will specify at the start of the year like what is expected of you for the assessment, so just make sure you keep an eye out. And lastly, for something hopefully a bit nicer, making friends. So I found that it can seem really intimidating trying to make friends with the French people, especially as I was turning up to third year classes, and so everyone's already been friends for 2 years. So I would definitely advise trying to go to as many Erasmus events as possible, because there's like a Facebook group and it posts all the events so you can meet other international students. Normally the other Erasmus students will become apparent in your classes because they always ask who's Erasmus and you're like, oh, c'est moi. So try and befriend other people, because sometimes knowing that you both don't speak French as your first language, you can be a bit more understanding and it's not so intimidating. But I would say there are plenty of really, really wonderful and kind French students, so do try and make some friends with them if you can, or like a study buddy or anything like that, because it's really, really good practice for your French, and like you can learn the slang. Okay, so to wrap this up, I just want to say thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions you have in the comments. If you've got any more suggestions of videos I could make on this topic or other topics, I'll be really happy to make those. I hope you're well, and I'll talk to you soon.